Here in a second, we'll get Matt Slayton, if you would, to come up and offer thanks for the food. After he does that, we'll get started eating. We'd like to thank Angie's Catering for setting all this up and that type of thing. We're looking forward to it. If you would, when you start the line, start on that end, and I think you can go on both sides of the table. Is that correct? All right. So if you would, Matt, if you'll come forward, please.
Will you bow with me, please? Gracious and Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together here tonight and celebrate the achievements of these young men and women who are here before us tonight. Dear Lord, we thank you for the coaches and the staff and for all their hard work and their dedication, as well as the commitment and the sacrifice of all the families who are present here. Dear Lord, for this food that we're about to receive, we ask your blessings upon it, as well as the hands that prepared it. Dear Lord, we ask you to forgive us when we fall short of your glory, and we pray that everything that we do would be for your honor and your glory. For it is in Christ's holy name we pray. Amen.
About ready to get started. I know some of you are still finishing up. If you can't hear me, because it seems like it's really, really loud, or it seems like it's not loud enough, but if you can't hear me, raise your hand and I'll just speak louder. Anyway, well, as I was saying, if you need to finish up, get another drink, or throw your stuff away, that's fine. Just feel free to get up as I continue to talk. I'm used to some people not paying a lot of attention sometimes, so it's good. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. So it doesn't really seem like it's working too well. First off, got a lot of thank yous for tonight and then for the whole year, obviously. So it'll take me a little while to get through some of these. First off, again, we'd like to say thank you to Angie's Catering. Now we know, once again, the food was really, really good, and we appreciate everything they did. Also, along with that, we'd like to thank the Booster Club and the officers, headlined by Tammy Graham and Trish Faulkner and Chris Graham. Chris, can't leave you out. You're not an officer, but you get volunteered a lot for setting up tonight, but also all year, just concession stand and doing everything you did for us, setting up the hotel rooms in Chattanooga and that type thing. So we really appreciate it. You hate to say this because next year, it might be better or it could be worse, but this is, from my vantage point as a coach, probably the most efficient and best booster club we've had in a long time, and I really appreciate that. Next, I'd like to thank Coach Thompson. He's been athletic director here ever since I've been here, and he says he's done after this year, but I don't believe that yet. I was thinking today, Coach, I've been here for 2 knee surgeries, 1 broken wrist, and now a shoulder surgery. So that's 4 surgeries in 9 years. But anyway, I don't know how many. He probably had missed 3 or 4 days of work and all of that. So really appreciate Coach Thompson and the support he's given me personally and our whole athletic program in the school. And then Mr. Sorrells, about a week ago, he came to me and said, Coach, I'm not going to be able to be there the night of the banquet. I've got to speak at the Lions Club, and he had already had that worked out. So he didn't want to be here, but I'd like to thank him, just his support overall and the attitude he's brought to the high school. And I think if you look at our test scores and our athletic situation, things are looking in the right direction at Lincoln County High School. Sometimes the academic side gets overlooked and doesn't get out there as much. I think we should put it out there more because as a coach, you always want to see the scoreboard. I don't think a lot of times we advertise the scoreboard as an academic side as much as we should. But academically, we've begun to do pretty good over the last couple of years. And a lot of that's not just Mr. Sorrells, but the school board and superintendent and things like that. But I'd like to thank Mr. Sorrells for supporting athletics as well. Our radio crew, Brian and Michael and Matthew Posey. Michael Cawthorn's not here tonight, but Brian Neese and Matthew Posey are. A lot of times, I say this every year, but I know it's true, so I'm going to say it again. I know a lot of times they make it seem like that we're playing better than we really are. because sometimes we don't play good, we win close, and somebody's like, man, y'all had a great game. It's okay. Appreciate it, but and to find out later they listened on the radio, so I know they're doing a good job, and I appreciate it. And they're always fun to be around. They're fun guys, and they seem to enjoy it, and I appreciate that, and I know our players do as well. And then along with that, Austin Perriman, I don't believe he's here tonight, but he came along this year and was our bookkeeper for the boys and the girls. He traveled with us to Chattanooga, and he was a big part of even really the team. He's a good guy, and it was good to have him this year. And then Todd Story with the PA. We really appreciate Todd and his PA skills and music selection and all that type of stuff. Paul Henry, can't forget Paul Henry, pmhsports.com. And he's now even gotten into the video thing, I see. Appreciate Paul, and I hadn't got to talk about Kentucky basketball as much this year, but usually Paul will call on Sunday after we played on a Tuesday, Friday night, and we usually have a good 20, 30-minute conversation, and I enjoy it. He always apologizes, but I enjoy talking about it. But usually we'll get into some Kentucky basketball. We didn't do that a lot this year. And then our trainer, Michelle, is not here tonight, but she drives up from Huntsville twice a week to help us and make sure everybody's healthy and okay. And I know, speaking for myself, I'm not really speaking for Coach Harden, but I kind of am. Sometimes we forget to tell her stuff, but she's pretty good because she doesn't really nag you, but she'll always make sure she knows when the games are and things. And if we've had a schedule change, she'll call, and by the time she calls, you're like, I knew I forgot to tell somebody about it. Can y'all hear me now? Okay. If you can't, just act like you can. I get that sometimes too. But anyway, I'd like to thank Michelle. Then also Coach Harden. This year, Coach Harden helped the boys basketball team during the games primarily because, during practice he's practicing with the girls and doing that type thing. But I really enjoyed him being over there on the bench and, just giving some feedback during the game, during the school day, talking about basketball, whether it's girls or boys. I just like to publicly thank Coach Harden because he's a really close friend, and we talk about basketball a lot. We have a lot of good talks about other stuff too. But he's also very supportive. And then Matt Prince, down here at the end, he was a pleasant surprise. He came on, I guess, about midway through November, maybe a little bit later than that. Matt was a senior here my first year, and he was kind of a knucklehead a little bit at times, guys. He was a good guy, great guy, good player, but he was a good guy to have on the staff because he had been in those shoes where, he'd been through those hard practices and been gotten on to a little bit before. And, I know boys' parents, y'all know this because you've talked to your sons about it, but Matt was a really welcome addition because he's one of those guys I could kind of point to, and Matt had been there and he'd done it. And he's pretty close to their age, and this time of year actually is the best time for Matt because he's really, really good at working out players and working on their game individually and skills and things like that. And he's really been a blessing to us, and looking forward to him being there full time as long as he wants to be here because he's a big help. And then obviously my wife, Tori, during the year I usually go out and try to see about, I don't know, it seems like I'm gone about 40, 45 nights a day, or I'm sorry, not a day, a year during the season, either for our games or scouting games and things. And I know sometimes I know the players see me a lot more than she does sometimes during the year. So I'd like to thank her. And then also, I'm sure you might have noticed, we've got two children. One of them's not here, and because she's got a little bit of a temper. I don't know where she gets that, but she has a hard time sitting through games. And when she's at games, Tori a lot of times won't be able to watch the game because Ansley is wanting to do other things during the game. But so I'd like to thank Tori, and then certainly not last, or certainly not least, but Grayson, the best shirt picker-upper in warm-ups ever. She's fired up about it. She loves doing it, and she's always asking me, Daddy, where's the bag for the warm-ups, for the jerseys? I will say this: if you ever lose a close game, you might not want to ride home with Grayson right after the game. She likes to talk about random stuff. Last year we got beat by Lawrence County here in overtime after they scored to tie it up to go in overtime. We don't ride together to the games a lot, but we did that night. So on the way home, you know, I'm not thinking about what she's talking about. She was just wearing me out about, you know, what we doing tomorrow and all that kind of stuff. So that was good, but it kind of, I wasn't ready to talk at that point. So I'd like to thank Grace. And then I guess this is the last, but it's also not the least. Parents, in particular parents of our guys. Obviously you've raised a great group of young men, have a lot to be proud of. I know you're not done raising them yet, never be done. But you've done a good job so far, great job I should say. And also just as a coach for your support, anytime I needed something or shot out an email about who's going to Chattanooga or who's doing this or that, you know, it was always good to get a good response. And so I know we wouldn't have had any kind of success had we not had some parents at home doing a great job at home. So I'd like to thank you guys. If I've left anybody out, it's Coach Hardin's responsibility to fix that on the way, and I second whatever he says next. Now, starting off as far as talking about our season, we started off okay. I thought we had a pretty good start to the year. We had several wins early on in the year, but we really bonded over the year. And about three things I'll say about this team is they were the most focused and fun group I've ever had. And that's kind of it's not an oxymoron, but that's a tough combination to have. You can have focus groups, but sometimes those guys are kind of boring. I mean, they end up being pretty good, but it's kind of not a lot of smiles and stuff. They're just kind of just business. But and then sometimes you'll have fun groups that they're always trying to clown around, but they're not ever really getting focused. This group really knew how to turn it on as far as being focused, and knew off the court how to have fun in the right way, and they did it all together. There really weren't any cliques. I mean, you have guys who have a common personality with somebody, and you know, guys kind of migrate to a few guys, but there really wasn't any cliques. It was just everybody was having fun and were really focused and really unselfish. They really showed a passion for what they wanted to do. Especially as the year went on. We talked about it in Chattanooga at the end of one of our longest days in Chattanooga. We had some situations, but it was okay. But at the end of that day, we had a team meeting, and it really not for anything that happened that day, but it was just a good time to meet there halfway through the year and talked about, and I don't think this is just relegated to teenagers. I really think this is kind of society as a whole. Everybody just kind of wants to be ordinary and kind of be like just kind of go with the flock instead of not being too afraid to put yourself out there and put yourself all the way into something. And I think that those guys did a really good job of saying, okay, we want to be really, really good. And I don't think it necessarily started in that meeting, but I think it kind of got it really rolling. That you know, we're not afraid to say we want to be the district champions and be the best team in Middle Tennessee and see how far we can go to this thing. And I think they really put themselves out there. And I think, you know, obviously as the season went on, it was pretty contagious, and we had a lot of support. And because passion, I think, is very contagious. It's hard to shy away from somebody who's passionate about what they do. If you see somebody that's passionate about what they do, you want to root for them. And I thought that played itself out as the season went on. And then the other thing is, big moments were not too big for our guys. And you know, we've all been around or seen people who were pretty successful and pretty good. But then when the big moment came, they kind of shrunk away from it and played worse, or kind of backed down, maybe a little bit scared. And right up until the end, you know, when the game against Laverne, down 1 with 30 seconds left, and packed gym and everybody going nuts. I mean, nobody was scared, and that kind of goes back to not being afraid to put yourself out there and just play hard and have fun and see how it goes. And probably as a team, that's the best three attributes they had. Very focused and very fun, showed a passion for what they did, and nothing was too big. They weren't scared of trying to win a big game, and that was very exciting. And then just to finish it up just for a second, the Laverne game, the last game here, was really kind of our season all in one game. We were playing a little bit over our heads a little bit. I thought we played really, really well, and played with a passion. Had a lot of fun during the game, And in big moment, you know, it was a tight game the whole game, and we got beat, but it wasn't because we backed down or were scared. It's just what it was. So I thought that was a great example of our season all in one game. And if you'd have told me, I think we took their best shot, by the way. They were the third best team in that district, and the other two teams were in the top 4 in the state, basically. Blackman ended up getting beat in the first round of the state tournament. That was kind of an upset, and then Siegel finished in the Final Four. And then Laverne was the third team in that district in the regular season. And then if you'd have told me Laverne's going to make 8 out of 15 three-pointers and make 13 out of 15 free throws, I would have said we're probably going to get beat 10 or 15. We took their best shot, and we were right there with them. And I wasn't very emotional after the game, and really I was really proud of how we played. I really was, and that's kind of when you can go out and be really proud of your effort in the last game of the year. That's about all you can ask for as a coach or a team or a parent or anybody like that. With that said, we'll go ahead and I'll start giving out some certificates to the. Most of these guys are underclassmen, and then we'll get into the awards. So as I call you out, guys, start with sophomores first. If you'll come out, and when I say your name, I'll give you a certificate, and then you go back and have a seat, and feel free to clap for them as I call their name. This first young man is a sophomore. He's played post in the past. This year, we just started able to work in the gym yesterday. We're looking for him to be a little bit more of a guard type player. I mean, he's still going to have to be a post too, but develop his shot a little bit and work on a little bit of ball handling. He's a great guy and a great teammate. And all that stuff I just talked about, we couldn't have done any of it without everybody. Those guys that played 10 minutes all year or those guys that played 620 minutes all year. Because the guys who played 10 had to display a great sense of team and unselfishness. Because the guy that plays 10 minutes all year, if he's pouting, that's going to affect those other guys that are playing a lot. So this is a whole team effort. This first young man was a great example of that, of just having a great team attitude, having fun, being around him, and that's Cameron Boyd, Fred, in other words. Right there. This next guy is one of our returning guys that's got a little bit of playing time as a guard. Look for him to have a lot more playing time next year. Played in some pretty big games already as a sophomore. Has a chance to be a pretty good shooter for us, and we're going to try to keep getting better at his ball handling and things. But I thought he had a pretty solid sophomore year, and that's Austin Grimes. Good job, Austin. This next player tore his ACL last year at NGA. Had a late start, really couldn't go through any conditioning and things until about mid-October. Very, very quiet young man. Players love him. He's the quietest guy that everybody talks to I've ever seen. He doesn't say a word, but everybody talks to him. But he's got a chance. Like I said, he got a late start last year, so he's kind of behind the 8 ball already to begin with. But watching him in there shooting today, he can shoot the lights out of it. And, it's just going to be a matter of the more he plays, the better he's going to get. And that's Trevor Jean. This next young man is he played quite a bit for us this year. Came in and had a pretty heavy responsibility playing point guard. Does a great dunk impersonation. If you catch him later after the thing, he's pretty quiet. He may not want to show it out, but he's really, really good. And that's Xavier Tallyhide. By the way, guys, these certificates I didn't get my homework done. I just got them today. I didn't get all those blanks filled in. If you bring them back to me tomorrow, I'll write it, or you can write it. However you want to do it. Anyway, now on to our juniors. Coach Harden's laughing because he got his done. Our juniors. This next young man, last year he played a lot of kind of the post type spot, really not a post, but kind of in the paint a little bit. And then this year we asked him to play point guard. And that's quite a change. He adapted to it and played pretty well. And then as the year went on and other guys progressed and things, we moved him kind of to the wing. So he basically played 4 spots in 1 year and did pretty well at all of them. And that's Ty Hadley. Ty. All right, our next junior, one of the most enthusiastic. Our guys know what we're talking about now. He's one of the most enthusiastic players on our team. Very unselfish player, pretty emotional player. We kind of got those emotions in check a little bit early. He had some negative emotion early. Now we're kind of all positive. And I think it all came from a good spot. It's, you know, get a bad call, and he wanted to display that sometimes too. But as the year went on, he learned how to kind of keep that to himself and then just be excited when we did well. And he came on and did a great job for us, and that's Tyler Jones. That's all. Our last junior is one of those guys that I think next year, if he continues to work, is going to be kind of one of those guys. It's like, where did he come from? Because I don't know if you can hear me or not. I guess you can now. Anyway, he as a sophomore and a junior, he played some this year, but I think next year he's got a shot to, if he gets better, it's on him. But if he continues to get better, he's got a shot to play a big role for us. He was playing behind a couple of big guys that were pretty productive for us this year, and that was a lot of it as much as it was him. But he's got a lot of talent, and very unselfish guy, pretty quiet. We need to get him talking a little bit more on the floor. But he's got a shot to be a pretty good player, and that's Jaquez Thompson. We had two guys that helped us out with some water bottles and towels and filming and that kind of thing. The first one's not here tonight, so I'll go ahead and talk about him a little bit. Stephen Land, he was here for home games and did a pretty good job for us this year. And but he's not here tonight, so I did want to mention him, but I'll go ahead and start talking about the next young man. And we probably all know who he is. He's a bundle of energy. He's everywhere at all times. He's omnipotent. Look that up, guys. That's your homework. Anyway, he's everywhere. But he's a senior, unfortunately, so he's planning on not being here next year. Unless we redshirt him, he might be back. But very energetic, very hard worker, and did a great job for us this year, mostly filming the games. But obviously he was there during practice doing other things and that type of thing, doing really anything we needed, and that's Jason Sanders. We'll go ahead and get on to our awards, and then we'll go from there. Most of these are statistically driven. A few of them are subjective, but most of them are just based completely on statistics. Our first award we'll give out tonight is a rebound award. This young man had 271 rebounds, which is an 8.7 average. In our district games, I meant to look this up when I got here, but you saw with the certificates I didn't quite get my homework done. I did look up some other stuff, but I didn't get to this one. I know, Paul, you may know that because you were talking about earlier in the year. I think through our first 8 or 9 district games, he had double-doubles in every one of them but one. And he probably finished the year with the same deal. He probably, I'd say of our 12 or 13 district games, he had double-doubles, which is usually double figures in points and rebounds. It can be any category, but that's what it was for him. Rebounds and points in the same game. And I don't know that we've had a guy that had more than 2 or 3 in a year, and he did it, I would safely say 10 out of 12 district games, much less the non-district games. And district games are tougher because everybody knows who you are, and they're scouting for you, and they're trying to make sure you don't rebound it. So if you can do it in a district game, that means you're pretty good. And that's B.J. Thompson. I want you to speak. I gave him my notes. BJ's a better speaker than I am. He can rebound and speak. We'll do that. All right, free throw award. Free throws. We had 2 guys tie for a free throw award, and early in the year we were really pretty bad, to be honest with you. And with some encouragement from me everybody else, administrators and everybody, we got a little bit better. And that's joking, the administrator. They did it, but it was in a joking way, hopefully. At least that's how I took it. Anyway, we got better shooting free throws. I think that before the first 5 or 10 games, we were quite a bit less than 50% as a team, probably in the low 40s. And then after Christmas, we ended up for the year shooting about 62%, which means those last 15 or 20 games we had to shoot 70 or 75%. And in the last game here against Laverne, we shot 70% for that game, which is pretty good in a big game. So we had 2 guys tie with 65%. We had a lot of guys around that because you have to have a lot of guys around it to get our percentage where it was. But the 2 guys, I'm gonna call these up separately. Both of them are probably going to be surprised because I had to get 2 calculators, 2 separate ones to like make sure it wasn't wrong when I tabulated it. But the first young man is B.J. Thompson. Yeah. And this next one's going to be a real surprise. That's why I held him to last, because he's going to be more shocked than y'all are. Now he probably knows who it is. But anyway, shot 65%, and BJ led us in free throws attempted. So to shoot 65% and also lead the teams in the most free throws you attempted is pretty good. This next young man was in the top 3 or 4 for free throws attempted. So he shot a high number, and he shot a pretty good percentage, and that is Ty Hadley. Surprised? Our best defensive player. And there's been some years it's kind of like close your eyes and pick one, because we might not have been very good. This year I think as a team we played pretty good defense. And I think that's a big reason why we were able to win quite a few games in the postseason and that type thing. So this one was a kind of the same situation because it was hard to pick, but it was hard to pick in a good way. But this young man, for the most part all year, we usually had him matched up on the best player on the other team. And even for a team like Lawrence County, who their best player is really more of a post player, we let him guard him. And he'll be the first to tell you he had some other help. It takes more than one guy to guard a good player. You got to have a guy guarding him. You got to have guys helping and all that type of stuff. But the best defensive player for this year is Tredarius Christian. Dunk. Welcome, thank you. Yeah. Our most improved player, kind of like the defensive player award. It's tough to pick, and that's a good situation to be in. We had 2 or 3 very legitimate candidates, and really, if you count, 12 guys I thought got better from day one. But then 2 or 3 guys separated themselves from that pack, and then this guy maybe a little bit more so just based on his playing time last year versus his playing time this year, and things like that. We really kind of had 7 starters by the time the season ended, and that's another good problem to have. And this guy was one of those guys, and last year he would have been probably the least amount of playing time on the team. But that didn't affect his attitude last year. He came to work every day last year, working, and then over the last month of last season, you could kind of see he's got a chance to be pretty good, and hoping that would continue. And then this year, that a little bit of playing time early just kind of made him even more hungry, which is good to see. He didn't stop working. He's probably in the gym more now than he was last year when he wasn't getting to play. And so for you guys that didn't play a lot this year or not as good as you wanted to be and want to keep getting better, he's a great example, probably the best example I've ever had as far as improvement from one year to the next, and that's Tyler Jones. The Charge Award has resurrected itself in the boys basketball program. We didn't give this out last year because I think our leader had 3 last year. That's not very good. So this year we're going to have one, and our leader this year had 13. And I think our next closest guy was about 6 or 7, and then we had quite a few with 4 or 5. And so it was pretty good, and that goes back to playing defense and being a help defender and helping those guys like Dunk, like I mentioned earlier, he might be guarding the best player, but if you're guarding the best player, he's going to get by you some. You got to have 4 teammates ready to help you and ready to put their body on the line to take a charge. And so it's a it's a toughness award, and it's also an unselfishness award. Instead of staying on your man, you got to come over and help guard the guy with the basketball and take a charge if you need to. And that award goes to Ty Luter. Academic award. First off, sophomores relax. You can't win this one. You're not eligible. Okay, we're gonna have to pick some of those GPAs up anyway. But am I off? I'm on now. All right. Anyway, this young man's got a 4.0 GPA, and the reason sophomores aren't eligible because they've only had really 1 semester at the high school to really even count towards this award. So juniors and seniors are really ones eligible for this. This guy won it last year. He's number 3 in his class. Is that correct? 1. My bad. Okay, my fault. I know I didn't have a 4.0. It's not my award. It's his. But I'll talk about it a little bit more when we get down to some other awards. But it's Riley Malone with the 4.0. Paul Riley. Now we go to MVP, and this is one I let the team vote on. I tell them they can vote. They can look at it, a couple different ways. It's kind of like the Heisman Trophy. Do you vote on the best player, just best basketball player? Do you vote on one that maybe a really good leader, maybe not quite the best player, but the most valuable as far as just all kinds of different stuff? How do you want to vote on it is up to you as a player. So I give them a ballot or a card, index card, and they write whatever name they want to write on it. Best teammate, best whatever. And this young man did a great job for us. He led us in rebounds, led us in points, averaged about a little bit over 18 points a game and 8.7 rebounds. And everyone during the game, he would do something, and I would hear these guys over there laughing. And I'm like, what are they laughing at? And I realized they were laughing because it was a good play and they enjoyed it and stuff. And I was like, you need some popcorn? I mean, they're just hanging out. It might be up by 1 and he gets a tip in, and it's just because he got up so quick. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about BJ. But and so he was a lot of fun to coach, but he was also apparently a lot of fun to watch for these guys over there on the bench. And that's BJ Thompson. And then the last award, the final award before we get to seniors, is the Falcon Award. And how I kind of, this is basically my vote, I guess, me and Matt and I talked about it. And that's kind of what you want to embody a Falcon. If you say go out in the community and I want one guy from our team to represent the community, and this year is very tough. I really should probably give 12 of these, but we'll get to it in a minute. So I guess our Falcon Award will be that banner that'll be up in there over the summer when they get that lift in here. But if we had to single out one guy, I look at academics. I look at how hard they work on their own at the game, their character, have they been in trouble, that type of thing. How they act on the floor, how successful they are as a player. So it's really kind of everything. And that award this year goes to Xavier Tallyhide. All right, we're going to get to our 5 seniors. I'm going to read about 5 things here about these 5 seniors, and I'll talk about them individually too as they come up. Before I get into these 5 things, when I'm reading them, you'll realize they didn't accomplish these by themselves, but they had a major part in it, and so that's why I'm going to read it now. This senior class is the first senior class to make it to the region tournament all 3 of their years since 1997. This senior class, which to me that doesn't seem that long ago because I graduated in 96, but when I do the math, it's a pretty good while. Most wins, the senior class is tied for the most wins since 1992. They had 50 wins in 3 years. This senior class is the first regular season, was part of the first regular season district championship last year. since 1990. They were part of the first district tournament championship this year since 1996, and it'll be when it gets up in there, they will be the senior class, the first senior class to be a part of back-to-back banners since the 1990 senior class. So as I'm calling these guys up, I'll be talking about them individually, but those are 5 pretty big accomplishments, and we could probably break. Go ahead. I could probably break it down and come up with a few more stats, but I think those 5 kind of say it all. And the interesting thing about it is those guys probably played less as a class of sophomores compared to any group of sophomores I had coming in. And some of it wasn't all their fault. They had, when they were sophomores coming in, there were 2 groups ahead of them that had played a lot already. And so just the experience and just learning how to play in high school was kind of tough for them compared to those guys that were already on the team. And then, but they did. Again, it speaks to if you have a passion for something and you're willing to work at it and willing to have an unselfish attitude about it and believe in yourself, you're going to be pretty good. It may take you a little bit longer than it takes somebody else, but you're going to be pretty good. And you know, those 5 stats I read, that's the first class to do all that stuff since 96, 97, 1990, 1992. So that's good. This first young man is one of those guys, and it happens every once in a while at a banquet. He doesn't quite fit into any of those statistical category awards. He's the second leading rebounder, one of our better defensive players. Especially, you know, he plays post. You're not going to ask him to guard a point guard, but as a post player, he's one of the better defensive players we had. He's a very unselfish player, very good representative of the team. But, you know, again, doesn't quite fit into one of those categories, but that doesn't diminish anything he did for us over his 3 years. I personally thought that, you know, there wasn't a ton of post-true centers in our district this year, but I really thought that Justin was one of the top 10 players in our district. And Justin didn't start a lot this year mainly because he fouled. He got into a lot of foul trouble. And so we decided to save him a little bit for the first, through the first 4 or 5 minutes. And I know he probably didn't like the decision, but he understood it, and because it's cool to kind of run out and slap hands and do whatever goofy dance y'all do at the end of the starting lineup line. But he understood why, and he lived by that adage. It doesn't matter if you start; it's if you can finish the game. That's really, if you can tell if you're play a big role in the team. And he bought into that, and he did a great job. And that's Justin Blackwell. This next young man, I wouldn't say hate. Hate's a very strong word, and I don't hate anybody. But this is one of those guys you could say had a love-hate relationship, and it's probably not that strong on the hate part. But there were days in practice we didn't get along very well, particularly sophomore and junior year. This year, he did a much, much better job. We still had every once in a while, because he's a very emotional kid, and sometimes I'm a pretty emotional coach and things. But he did a outstanding job, and he's one of those guys that I just kind of clicked with as far as personality, and click meaning in a good way. In a few days we clashed, but most days we clicked pretty good, and got a great personality, very high character young man. Played his best basketball the last 5 or 10 games of the year. Big reason why we made a run in the district and had a chance to win a first round region game for the first time in a long time. I can't say enough about him. When he came from Mississippi, I didn't know what to think about him. But anyway, I've come to love him. Yeah, I really have, and as I have all of them. But Dunk's one of those guys I get on a lot. But he's always ready to bounce back because he understands kind of where it's coming from. And he's going to get better out of it. And that's Dunk, Tredarius Christian. There it is. That's Dunk. This next guy, it's kind of like, a little bit like Jaquez. I think Jaquez can be next year. This young man came on and played some last year. He always kind of was hurt. had a little bit of sickness with him the last couple of years. Chipped an elbow, bone in his elbow last year, and things, and that played a little bit of part in it. But this year he came on and a really good leader for us. Very unselfish player, made some big shots, guarded some good players. I'll probably be redundant in saying this, but all 5 of these guys are going to be very successful. You know, it may take them a while to find out exactly what they want to do, but if they're not successful right away in life, it won't be because they're not trying and not putting their heart into it. They're going to work hard, and they're going to be unselfish, and they're going to work smart. And this young man's another example of it, and that's Ty Luter. Good job, Ty. This young man is number 1 in his class. I'm not exactly sure of the terminology, but he was the best lineman in football. He played in the Kentucky-Tennessee All-Star game. He was a member of a regular season district championship and a district championship tournament basketball team. And that's very tough for an offensive lineman in football to do that and to be a part of that in basketball. And he's somewhat like Justin, sometimes gets mixed up in matchups. And this year we have, and last year too, had a lot of quick guys in our district. Didn't really have any true 6'6" guys on any other team except for Tullahoma, and they had a bunch, or they had a lot of big guys. But great young man, very unselfish, very intelligent, gets along well with everybody, and just a joy to be around, and that's Riley Malone. What's up, Riley? This next young man, our final senior, is he probably came in, I guess you could say, the most decorated or the most looked forward to as far as, you know, had a lot of highlights and stuff in junior high and NGA, and came on as a sophomore and didn't get to play a whole lot. A little bit because of who he had in front of him, a little bit because he had to catch up to kind of the skill level it took to play guard. He played more of a guard position when he came in as a sophomore. And then last year, late in the summer of his junior year, we moved him to kind of playing more in the paint and letting him be a little bit of a post and a little bit just let him play, be athletic and let him play. And he, you know, we talked about earlier with the MVP award, his statistics. I don't know if you'll ever find a guy that had success on, he scored, I don't know, 34, 35, 36 in a couple of games. And you never heard him, I guess he knew it. He probably knew it, didn't you, BJ? But you never heard him talk about it. You never could tell by practice. If you, as a coach, if your best player and your point guard have really good practices every day, you're going to be pretty good. And a guy like BJ with his stats, sometimes, you know, he could come in and try to take a practice off probably if he wanted to, and that's what some guys would try to do, and it would affect the team. But you never could tell. You know, he was just going to play. He was BJ, and he was going to be BJ no matter if he scored 40 or if he had a bad game. And he's very level-headed, and he's also a joy to coach, and that's obviously BJ Thompson.
You're not going to say bye?
Again, I'd like to thank everybody, including most of all our players. And I will say this. I told these guys on Monday, we got beat by Laverne on Saturday, and we had a pretty emotional team meeting. It was about 30 minutes. It was one of those. I saw Jimmy Valvano, a movie about him the other night on the ESPN Classic, 30 for 30. I was through. You can sit down. I'm done. Hey, you sit down. Anyway, he always talked about, you know, every day if you laugh and you think and you have some kind of emotion, like cry, either for joy or for sadness, in one day you've had a full day. In that team meeting, we all had it in about 30 minutes. And it was a funny meeting because we were talking, it was almost like, you know, kind of a funeral in a way, but you're talking about good times and bad times. And I told them this in that meeting. It's kind of like your kids. You never say who's your favorite because you don't really have a favorite. Everybody's different. But I don't know if I'll ever coach a group. This is sophomores, managers, through seniors, through everybody, like this group. A very, very special group. And I would like to thank every one of you. All right. Thank you, guys.
Sure, you can be proud of those for you. All right.
Can y'all hear me? I do want to first, I want to congratulate Coach Tips and the boys team on their season. It was really, it was fun. I don't want to do it again, but it was fun to be over there. I actually learned a lot, I think, and but what BJ, what Matt and I were talking about usually was you would make some kind of tip back over your head, and I'd go, wow, I want one of those, and stuff. But it was usually after some kind of ridiculous play. But y'all had a great season, and I really want to congratulate you. At the very start, I want to apologize for the people that I do not thank, all right? So remember, if I miss you, I thanked you first, okay? So, who's going to do that? Anytime that we start, anytime there's a program, there's a long list of people to thank, and you know, Chad and Coach Tip just, he thanked everyone. It's going to be a little bit redundant, but still, I think I would be amiss by not thanking them. And our administration, he talked about Mr. Sarles. He's done a lot to help change this school and to add to this school, and so we appreciate that. Coach Thompson, I can't, we've become, he's my boss, but we've become more than that, I think. Now then, I'm the guy that beats him in golf every week now since he can't play. I'm having to take a forfeit from him right now, but he's a great friend, and we have some really good conversations and a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to his golf game getting a little bit better so that we can have a little bit of competition and stuff down the road. But I really want to thank the Booster Club, all the officers of the Booster Club, the things that y'all do that makes our program better. I talk about it a little bit every year. We came here, the girls had to pay for everything, the boys had to pay for everything, and that doesn't happen now. Our program, is the camps are paid for. We have the signs. We have everything, and it's the parents in the Booster Club. When I say the Booster Club, that's all made up of the parents. But I know that Trish and Tammy and everybody in it has just made a huge difference to everything. And the parents that work the concession stand, that's hard, and we know that it is. But it makes a huge difference in our program, and all that and all the work that you do is tremendously appreciated. Again, Paul Henry, Paul has figured out over the years. There's times to come around and talk to me after the game, and there's times that I'll get a call from him or a text on Sunday to call me. All right, and he's pretty well figured those out. I enjoy the things that he does for our program. Every year that he donates the pictures that go into to the ladies' locker room there going in, we appreciate his time and effort on that. The radio crew, Brian and Michael. Brian has become my compliance man, my officer, and that's an inside joke between me and him, but he's doing really good at that. Matt Posey has saved me and Coach Tip a lot of time by the stats that he did this year, by us not having to do that off the tape. That takes away a lot off of us. So we appreciate it very, very much. I think Chad talked about our trainer, Michelle. She had a lot of work to do on the girls' team this year, a lot of work. And she was there and very, very helpful for us. Todd and Austin Perryman, Todd Story and Austin Perryman, the job that they did, we appreciate everything that they did. I'm going to thank Jason Sanders also. Those of you who don't know, I fired Jason for one game in the middle of the season and stuff. Got to be embarrassed a little bit now, but I'm watching. He was really, really good, and I'd said, well, we got the best man, best film guy in Middle Tennessee. And then he went through a stretch of a couple of games that I was looking at just empty court and stuff. And one of them happened to be the Columbia game, I think. But anyway, it wasn't good. So talked to him the next day, and I said, I just can't take that. So I fired him that game. Michelle did it one game, hired him back the next Monday. Had to call in, eat a little bit of crow on that stuff. So but I did thank Jason for doing that. I want to thank Matt. Matt really helped our team this year and stuff. He did a lot of individual work with him. Knew Matt as a player, watched him play as a player. Really got to know him here at school this year. He's got a bright future in front of him because he has such a passion for kids in the game and for doing it right. And we had some really good conversations over on the sideline, and we still do every day. Savannah Hill, that came in to help me, working a full-time job. She's not here tonight because she started a new full-time job at Huntsville Hospital tonight, and but she came and asked me to work with the kids and work with the ladies, and so that's the kind of person that she's the kind of person that I want the girls to be around, and very good. And then again, thanking Chad and Coach Tips. It was really great to have him on the sideline. He did a really good job of trying to keep me focused. Okay, when I'm throwing one of my temper tantrums, he was trying to ask me, Coach, what do you want next? Or he would tell the girls to get a stop while I'm stomping the floor. Okay, and so he did that really well. And then we talk so much and communicate so much here, at school at the times that we get to have. We have hall duty down there together every morning. And so we get to process his team, my team, everybody's team. So that was very, very big. Got stars around it. I want to thank Michelle, my wife. She does a lot of stuff behind the scenes that help y'all out that y'all never know about. Okay. When You're welcome. when I maybe want to be a lot tougher. Now there's times when she thinks I'm too soft and thinks I'm too easy on him. So there's a time for that, but most of the time she's on y'all's side. Okay, and she hears me talk about it a lot. Okay. And I appreciate her time and her willingness to be here, and in support of me and y'all. And I want to thank y'all, the players. Y'all was a very, very fun group to coach. You really are, and things. And as I get into talking a little bit about the season, I tell everyone, last year I can remember last summer. Last summer wasn't a good summer for me. Health-wise, was awful. Basketball-wise, I thought was going to be worse than my health, and I was on a walker. Okay, okay. We came out of a gym after playing somebody from Alabama. I don't know. We were in the alumni gym at MTSU, and I didn't think, well, we're not going to win a game. I don't know how I'm going to get through it. Because I mean, it was awful. I mean, it was not good, and it's a testament to those ladies of how they came in August, and they started working. Now, they don't mind me telling y'all this, because I'll tell them this all the time, okay? They're not the hardest working kids outside on their own, okay? When practice was over, they're pretty quick about being out the door, okay? But during practice, they worked as hard as any group that I ever had, okay? And they do work hard. The thing that made them successful this year is that they were the best team and full of teammates that I think I've ever coached, okay? I've had better players, but I don't think I've ever had a better team, okay? Everybody's had better players, okay? Coach Tips has had better players, okay? But the better teams that you've got to have, it takes a teamwork, okay? You know, I had a team that had 5 people sign college scholarships, okay? They were not any more successful than what y'all were this year. And so it takes a lot of teamwork. The season record was 22 wins and 11 losses. That's the 5th time in school history that a girls basketball team has won over 20 games. That was the 4th most in school history at the 22 wins. The seniors on that team have won 57 basketball games. So that in itself is a real accomplishment, and it's something to be very proud of. We got put out in the first, we got 3rd in the district tournament, got put out in the first round of the region by Blackman, who was one of the top teams in the state. You know, and we went down swinging. If we shoot the basketball that night, we had a great opportunity to win. They won the Christmas tournament in Hickson, which is the first time since I've been here that they've won a Christmas tournament. The Christmas tournament's been won. On another note, it was extremely important to me that we beat Tullahoma all 3 times that we played this year. That's, those of you who don't know, Michelle's uncle coached Tullahoma. So that all the family get-togethers from here on out. And he quit after this year, so we never got beat by Tullahoma. So that was good. If you put the picture of this year's team up, you know, you have to put team in quotations, because again, I just keep talking about how they were as teammates. I'm sure that in the course of a year, there's a lot that goes on that maybe I don't hear about and know about, but our locker room, you know, there was less drama in it this year than ever, okay? And it was a real testament to them of how well and how very proud of them I am, that they were all great teammates. The seniors were great teammates. They're very unselfish, and it was fun to coach them. They had to fight very much through all their injuries, their sickness, and we had adversity. There was times when, you know, we'd have 7 players at practice. Okay, there were times that you know, we had you know, kids, and I'll talk about them more individually as we get into the individual part, but had to fight through a lot of stuff. And these kids are going to be, and Chad talked about it with his guys, they're going to be great citizens. You know, sometimes you know, you hear a lot of bad things about some of the young people. You know what this generation is and what that. You know, this group of kids right here, boys and girls, they are going to be great citizens that we're putting out there. And that goes to you parents, and I think some to the school, and I hope some to athletics. I think that what kids can learn from athletics, I think, can help them all the way through. I know that it's helped me in some of the challenges that I've had or anyone had. I think athletics helps them fight through those challenges. I'm going to go ahead and get to the awards. I'll go to the certificates first. When I call your name, come up here and get your certificate. This young lady, I don't think she's here tonight. The only one's not here. Sarah Finner came in and did a really good job of just working hard in practice every day. She was there. She worked hard. She was unselfish. She didn't ask for anything. She just came to work every day and did her job. And it was good to have her on the team. And wish Sarah the best. By the way, ladies, yours is, mine all filled out, okay? I was working while he was talking a while ago. This young lady came in. She was one of our sophomores. I'd seen her play over at City a little bit, saw her play at NGA. She came in and did a really good job. She has a very bright future in front of her. She's a hard worker. She is one of the kids that would stay after and work. She's working to get stronger all the time, but she did a really nice job of improving and becoming a better player. And she kind of sold out to the program of getting better. Looking forward for all the things that she's going to bring next year. This is Morgan Higgins. And that concludes my sophomore class, okay? Now the juniors, this young lady is started off a little bit slow, was a little bit sick to start with. She's very athletic, can be a really good player if she puts the time and effort in to work on all of her skills. She can be a really good offensive player. She can jump. She can get off the floor. She can be a great defensive player, a great rebounder. The future it's in front of her if she wants it. She's dinged up with a little bit of injury right now that I think she's going to get some work done on. But she's got a chance of being a really good player, and that's Kyla King. This player is set out for a year and then came out this year, and she could tell when she started that she had set out for a year. Didn't complain at all, came in and just kept trying to get better. And about the time she was about to turn the corner, okay, and shots were starting to go in. She was having really good practices and things. She got mono, okay, but and then I had to set out for the rest of the year. Actually, she's come back now and is working hard. Look forward to what she's going to bring to the table next year, and that's Amy Ann McCormick. Well, this is the loudest member on the team that talks all the time. He can't, I'm kind of being a little sarcastic right now, and because all her teammates are turning for her. She's very kind of quiet, but she really grew up this year and played and has to play down in the post as far as defensively, where that she was guarding people and not used to having to guard that position. And she did a really good job. She led us in three-point shooting. She made 47 threes this year. Shot 34% from the three-point line, when our team shot 26. So she did a really good job. Has a chance to really step up and take it to the next level next year. And McKinley Slayton. Every time I turn around, we got a new brace somewhere. I mean, the last junior is our point guard. She had a really good season. I'll talk more a little bit about her and some of the individual awards that she's going to get in a minute on the statistic things, but she's a worker, okay? She works hard. You want your best player, Chad talked about it a while ago, your best player and your point guard to be your hardest workers and stuff. And sometimes those can be the same person. Sometimes they can be two different people. But and Courtney, she's a good player, and she got a chance of being a great player. But she's a hard worker too, and I appreciate her. I give her a hard time sometimes, but she works hard. She's able. This whole group was very able to take criticism very well, and that's I guess when you're playing for me, that's a good thing and stuff. So. They did a good job, and this last person here was Courtney Story. I'm going to go ahead. Ours is a little bit. I'm not going to do them in the exact same order that Chad, I think. I'm going to go ahead and give my senior awards first because I want to talk about the seniors for a little bit. This lady played some as a junior, quite a bit as a junior, and then played a ton of minutes her senior year. She did a lot of things for us, offensively, defensively, rebounding, all of it. She's a great young lady and things, and I think all of our seniors' influence in the locker room probably had a lot to do with the success of winning 22 games this year. And we're going to get to some individual awards later, but Chad talked about it. Individual awards are team awards. Team. It's all about team, and that's what it was with this group this year. And more, just over and over and over again. It was about team, and Shy Buchanan was the ultimate team player that just kind of led the whole group, okay, and as much as that group can be led, all right. But she's a great young lady. She's also someone that came to school, did really good in school, came to basketball, did really good in basketball, and worked, okay? And so that's what I'm talking about, the kind of citizens that we're putting out there, and y'all are putting out there now. But a great senior, going to miss her a lot, Shy Buchanan. This young lady came in as a sophomore, as one of the more promising up-and-coming sophomores. Played a lot, started a few games as her sophomore year, and then had some devastating knee injuries that as Coach Thompson and I can attest to, and some of the other people that's had knee injuries, knee surgeries, they're hard to come back from. And Cecily chose to try to get both knees done to be able to come back and play her senior year. Not only did that took a lot of courage. I don't know how smart it was, but it took a tremendous amount of courage, and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked, and got back and was starting to get to play again. And that was just, and I think that was just because of toughness and more so than her being well. But she toughed it out, and she kept coming and got it hurt again. She's going to be, with that kind of attitude, extremely successful in her life. Okay, she makes great grades. She's a great student. And again, a great citizen. Tremendous to have her in the program for 3 years. Nothing but encouragement from her, and I wish her the best. Cecily Dickens. You're welcome. Good. If we could have played Shelbyville for 30 games, this kid would have probably been All-American. All right, seemed like every time that Shelbyville was there, she came up big and playing well and shooting well. She did a really good job this year. Started some games, came in off the bench, off the game, and this team was, again, I keep going to preach team, but they did a really good job of understanding that 5 players could start, and that changed a lot during the year as the year progressed and changed things. Things changed and stuff, but she became a starter. She had a lot of talent. She could shoot the basketball, shot it real well late in the season, and could defend, could rebound. Did a really good job for us. Again, you know, a smile on her face up here all the time. See her in school. Usually she's walking right beside one of the other seniors. I don't know. They need to be roommates or something. I don't know, but she's done a really good job. And again, one of the seniors we hate to see go, but has done a great job for us, Whitney Graham. This senior I really like a lot. Okay, I like all of them, but this one here gets my jokes. Okay, and sometimes that's really hard. It took her like 6 or 7 years, okay, to figure it out. But you know, she understands. She's a very mature 18-year-old, and you know, she's got a chance. She's got a lot of stuff that goes on. She's, you know, one of the top shooters, yeah, probably in the United States even, and things. And you know, got a bruise right now from shooting. Okay, but when she came here, she was different. Okay, I'll just put that. She was a post player for one thing. She's probably been the same height since she was probably in the 7th grade, but she hasn't grown anymore. And she changed positions from playing the 5, which is the post player, the big post player, to the 4, to the 3, to a guard this year facing the basket. She did a really good job. She's a good shooter, good rebounder. She's tough, sometimes too tough at the end of the game. You know, I've got to be looking at Liz and say, "Don't foul," okay? Or did you know what? You know, what was that for? But another great citizen that's going to go out. She sits on the front row of the class this semester. This 9 weeks, and looking forward to having her in there too. But a great kid and one of the great senior leaders on the team, Elizabeth Faulkner. She's a mature 17. Excuse me. Okay. Does everyone know what Murphy's Law is? Okay. Okay. Y'all don't? Okay. Murphy's Law, if something bad can happen, it will. Okay. I told this kid today, I said, you know, you're going to have a great life because everything unlucky that could happen to you is happening right now. Okay. this kid, you know, she was another kid that came in as a sophomore with a lot of talent, a lot of promise, and things. Hurt both ankles her sophomore year. Came back. She came through that, fought through that with injuries. Broke her nose in the first game of this year. Had to play in a mask that was very, very comfortable, I'm sure, and things for part of the game. And then fights through all that and come back and playing very well. And we're up one. They get the Chevyville gets the ball here in our gym. Rebecca gets a steal and makes the steal that would have probably sealed the game and tears her ACL. Okay, and still fights through everything. Comes to school on crutches. The only thing that she wouldn't do is that I challenged her to a race while she was on crutches, and she wouldn't race me. And I think I could have beat her at that point. But and I maybe now the last injury she got hurt in physical therapy. So Coach Thompson, you better watch it. Okay. So that's tough. But this kid, she's a great student. She does a lot in the community. She's been a good basketball player for us and a great teammate, Rebecca Holmes. There you go, yeah. This last senior, if you have a dictionary and you look up the word teammate, you're going to see her picture next beside it. Okay. She never complains. I don't think there's been a time that I have ever asked her to do something that she didn't do it to the best of her ability. I don't think there's ever been a time that I didn't see her push Courtney to run at their full speed in every sprint. Okay, that they were there, you know, every time. Her effort was never a question. Okay, her character is never a question. You know, she just came to practice every day to do her best. And she brings that to school, she brings that to basketball, and she's going to bring that to life. And again, you know, teammates, this team was just full of really good teammates, and how that they pushed each other and how that they made each other better. And this will be very sad to see this kid go. Because she is someone, has a smile on her face every day. She's someone that has the positive attitude that helps everyone and helps us and helps me. And Kiana Miller is going to be greatly missed. Kiana Miller. Okay. Yeah, I can just sit them right there. As in Coach Tipps's, most of these are stat driven, or grade driven, using GPA or actual grades, and he said GPA. So we went on grade point average, and so we went 4.0s, and we had four young ladies with 4.0s, which is pretty good. That first one is Cecily Dickens. That's pretty awesome, actually, when you think about it. 4 young ladies, and there was several 3.7, 3.8. So. Rebecca Holmes. I might still whoop you. Yeah. McKinley Slayton. Courtney Story. And again, sophomores, I think Morgan has a 4.0, but she's not eligible. To carry that kind of grade, point average, and do the things that it takes to play athletics in this day and time is a big deal, and they're to be very much commended. Rebound award. Well, this is that big, strong player of ours that could push people around and get in there and get the rebound. Okay, she had 159 rebounds at 5'5" and stretching it. She got the most rebounds because she went to the glass every time. She did a great job. Excuse me. She got almost as many offensive rebounds as she got defensive rebounds. But with 159 rebounds, led us in rebound, and Shy Buchanan. Congratulations. Free throw award. Our free throw coach is Coach Thompson over there. He doesn't take much credit for when we shoot them bad, but we give him credit for when we shoot them good. But this was actually one of the better free throw shooting teams that we've had and stuff. As a team, we shot right at 68%. But this young lady led us in not only attempts but makes, and she shot 77.6%. Courtney Story. Most improved. It was 2 or 3 kids on the team that that I could have given this to, I guess, but I took it from where I went back and looked at minutes played last year, and then minutes played this year, and what she meant to our team, and then how far it went. And again, this player was asked to play kind of out of her position a little bit. Is still learning to play it, but did, I saw her play. I never saw her play until her freshman year. It was somewhere in about the 3rd or 4th quarter of a game. NGA was playing City, and she hadn't played her first half, or maybe even in the 3rd quarter. And she came in and shot the ball one time on the wing, and I thought, wow, that kid's got a chance of being a good player. And she's come on and really improved from where she was last year to where she was this year. I said it earlier, she led us in threes this year with 47 threes, and that was quite a few more than anyone else. Shot 34%, and did a really good job rebounding and defending in the post. McKinley Slayton. You'll notice that I'm not giving any charge awards, okay? Our team wouldn't equal a good, if we totaled what our team took this year, wouldn't equal somebody taking a charge award, I don't think. So we didn't do that. Our defensive player of the year was someone that we usually put on their best player, and that we asked to guard their best player. If it was a guard, this player was going to guard him. We played a lot of zone this year, but she played the top of the zone, had a lot of ground to cover. She did a really good job for us again on what she did. Very proud of her. She got a lot out of herself because she worked really, really hard on the court, and that's Shy Buchanan. The MVP of our season, and again, individual awards, and I think this player will be the first to tell you that teammates help you win awards and things. We go back to talk. I won't talk a little bit about it, but I'll just talk on the Hickson tournament. Shy was all tournament in that. I forgot to say McKinley's all tournament, and Courtney was the MVP of it. And on our season, Courtney Story is going to be our MVP and sit there for a second court. But it's hard to. She led us in scoring, but she also led us in assists and set a new assist record. She had 156 assists this year, which broke her record from last year. But last year, she averaged about 6 points a game, and this year she averaged 16. So in doing that, and it actually shows still how unselfish a top player that she is. Again, led us in free throws, led us in steals. It did a lot of things for us. As a team, we were very good at taking care of the basketball this year. We only averaged about 11 turnovers a game, which is one of the big reasons we won 22 basketball games. And having a good point guard was part of that. So the most valuable player for 2012-2013 was Courtney Story. And this is the hardest one to pick to me, especially this year. The Lady Falcon Award. I could have picked any one of the 6 seniors, and any of them could be it. Because all of them, we've talked about being great teammates, great citizens. They all do well in school. They've all fought through adversity. They're the kind of young ladies that we want to put out into the world that are going to make a difference. But I only could pick one, and the things that in 3 years I don't ever think I ever heard anything out from her except positive. Okay. Except, she's just someone that never complained. She's maybe fifth in her class. Not number one, I don't think. But she's just a great kid, great in the community. Just the overall thing that it has to be for the Lady Falcon Award. Rebecca Hone. That concludes, I think Jill's going to come up here in a moment. It concludes what Coach Tips and I are doing here. Again, I can't express the thanks to the parents and to everyone that's here and everyone that we thank, but to you young ladies, okay? Y'all went through a season of great adversity, and we in our weight room, that's also a janitor's room and anything else that they can put in there that we have to clean up about every time we go in there. But there's a big basketball on that wall, okay? And in the middle of the weight room, there's a basketball on the floor that has the team that won 25 games, has all their names in there with their numbers. And they wanted to know what they'd have to do to be able to put their name over there on the wall. Well, I thought I could tell them anything, because at that point in time we weren't expecting a whole lot, okay? But I told them 20 wins would get it over there. And with their 22 wins, they're going to be able to put their names will be on that basketball in the wall, and with their numbers and things. And it's something that they can look at. It's something that we can go in there and other kids are going to look at. They're going to look at that and want their names up there too. And they're going to have to work, and they're going to have to be a team, the way that y'all were, for that to happen. And very proud of y'all. I'm going to miss y'all, okay? Even though we got a box of rocks, and they know what I'm talking about and stuff. But great kids, and very proud of coaching. Yeah.
Thank you, and I do want to thank everybody again. And if Trish would come up for a second.
I'm not going to the microphone. Y'all know my daughter, she gets it from me, I'm loud enough. Coach T, if I can present you with something.
Golf lessons.
Well, we can figure out what do we get somebody that probably has everything. So we got something that most men like. It has to do with food. Do you mind opening it? Hold on. Oh, great.
Oh, $500 for chicken wings.
Okay, if I could get the senior girls to come up, please.
Coach Hardin. We bought you this. Well, we didn't buy it. I guess they bought it. We definitely weren't going to spend any money on you. This is your present. It's from all of us. We just want to thank you for everything you've done for us over the past years, and don't break it because we know you get mad. That's a promise, right?
That's the problem. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You have to open it.
Did it really break?
Yes. That's why I say don't break it. Box it up.
Can't let him have it.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'm excited. Pretty good. Wow.
Chad can't break it. He can't have it.
Senior boys.
Senior boys.
Yeah, we all know Doug's dog. Senior?
To Mr. Coach Matt Prince. I enjoyed our first year with you. I'm pretty sure you enjoyed your first year. And if you did, you should have, because you won't have me anymore. But well, I guess both of these are for you. I don't know why you get two, you're not that special. Okay. And two, I'm guessing it's a clipboard, but anyway. To Coach.
Just don't break this one.
Yeah. I believe it's one of those fancy ones with your name on it, so if you break this, I don't think you'll have a booster club anymore.
Thank you. Costs more than the one we bought you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Becca? Oh,
Golly.
and Kiana.
Box of rocks.
Thank you, girls. We will miss you. Yeah. Roll them up. Okay, I'm done if you want to go.
Thank all of y'all for coming. This concludes.